teacher Melinda Hughes, and today I will do social studies with you. I'm happy to let you know that politeness is a very important topic. And as we look at this topic, I am sure that you will learn something more about politeness. What will we focus on? We will focus specifically on caring our environment. So let's find out, what is an environment? An environment is the surrounding or condition in which a person or plant lives or operates. So, all of us have an environment. Yes, because there is some place where we live and also operate. The environment also refers to the natural world. Let's identify the types of environments. There are basically two types of environments. One, the physical environment includes both your outdoor and indoor surrounding. And social. Your social environment is where you live and where something develops. So boys and girls, those are the two types of environments. Now, let us examine ways to care for our environment. 1. Use reusable bags. Plastic grocery type bags that get thrown out and end up in landfills. So these are some bags, the plastic type grocery bags that sometimes we throw out. They can be reused. So when we reuse them, they help to prevent the environment from becoming polluted, or they also help to prevent animals from suffocating if, perchance, those plastic bags get out into the environment and animals can sometimes mistake them for food. So we use bags, or we reuse bags that are labeled reusable in order to protect the environment from 1, pollution, 2, from suffocating animals that may mistake those bags for food. We can also save the environment by saving electricity. We can use efficient light bulbs instead of regular bulbs, and these bulbs are referred to as energy savers. I'm sure, boys and girls, you have some of these in your homes. What other way can we show care for the environment? This is one that children love to do. And so we can care for the environment by saving water. Why did I say, boys and girls, that children like to do this? They like to leave the tap or the faucet of the pipe on. If we do that, we just aren't being careful about our environment, because that water is wasted when the pipe or the faucet is left on and no one is using water. And so it is important that we save water by using just what is needed. So boys and girls, we can care for our environment by reusing bags or containers. We can care for our environment by saving electricity, where we use energy-saving bulbs rather than the regular ones. And we can also care for our environment by saving water. Now let us see how we can care for plants in our environment. Caring for plants. If you notice, there is a water lily pond that is shown in the picture. Now, the water lily is a plant that is useful to many people in Guyana. Yes, some people use the flowers as ornaments. As a matter of fact, they preserve the flowers and they make ornaments or arrangements with them. Some persons use the leaf of the water lily plant for religious purposes. Now, boys and girls, there is a no swimming sign there. That sign is simply saying that no one should swim in that water lily pond. Of course, there are other areas, not only where the water lily plant is found, but I am sure you may have seen no swimming signs in other places. Plants should be cared for because they provide food and also help to beautify the community. And the water lily plant is very useful to members of the community or Guyanese at large where these ponds are found. Now let's imagine if you go swimming in that water lily pond, eventually the water lily plant can get destroyed, parts of it. It can cut off the leaf from the stem, and it just wouldn't thrive well. And that will interfere with the purpose for which the water lily plant is there in the water. So it is important to care for plants by obeying signs that might be there where plants are. In this case, the no swimming sign. Now, boys and girls, let's look at this. We see plants here, we see sucker, and in the other picture, we notice that a farmer is there watering his garden. Now, these plants provide food, and so if we don't care for them properly, then they will not produce the type of food or the amount that is expected. So, how do we do that? We care for plants in our environment by making sure that they are well watered, they are well manured, and they are free from weeds, so that the benefits for which the plants are there will be enjoyed. So we do need to show care for plants in our environment. Not only plants are part of our environment, but also animals. So boys and girls, we need to care for animals. Animals are part of our environment. They must be treated with care because they are useful to man. Some animals are used for food, work, pets, and some assist in pollination. So animals are useful. How do we care for animals? Do not overload animal-drawn carts. Yes, boys and girls, some animals are used to do work. That means animals are used as transportation, where we have animal-drawn carts. So we have horse carts and also donkey carts. Most times we see them in the city and across the country parts. Do not overload animal-drawn carts. Next, if your pet is sick, take him or her to the veterinarian. So you're showing care for your animal, for your pet. Feed animals on time. Yes, boys and girls, just as how humans want to have their food and their meals on time, animals need to be fed on time too. So animals must be fed on time. And for those of us, or for those of you who have pets, keep their homes clean. So the kennel and the cage, those places must be kept clean. And finally, boys and girls, this is something that children enjoy sometimes. They like to pelt birds, especially when they see them in trees. Do not pelt or kill birds. When we do that, we are not showing care for animals. So let's look at some images. Now notice we have two animal-drawn carts. Both of them are horses. They are being used to do transportation, or they are used for transportation purposes. Notice one has two persons on it with their load or their goods, and that animal is moving quite freely or easily. The other one has materials on it, and if we look, that animal appears to be struggling because we can conclude that the weight is too much. So we do not overload those carts if animals have to draw them. Next, notice that those pets, those animals, are feeding. They are being fed. They would have been fed because it is time for their dinner, as we would say, it's dinner time. So animals must be fed on time. In the next picture, you would notice that someone is giving that dog a good bath. Yes, boys and girls, animals that we use as pets and even those that we use to do work must have a bath. Yes, and a regular one like we do from time to time. So, boys and girls, those are some ways how we show care for animals. Remember that our environment is made up of not only people, not only plants, but also animals. Our environment refers to the natural world, and so we can show care for our physical environment. We can show care for our environment as it relates to plants, as it relates to animals, and even to the things we do in our environment as we socialize. So, boys and girls, it is important that we care for our environment, because if we don't, we can lose it and then we have nowhere to go. I encourage you, boys and girls, to pay attention to the way you treat your environment, whether it's your space around where you live and dwell, or whether it's plants or animals. Be good and be smart as well. Until next time, goodbye, boys and girls.